Evening, everyone, and welcome to Tuesday Evening Talks, and good evening to our online viewers as well. So, welcome to you too. Anybody here for the first time? Okay, so just some house rules. The way you came in is the way out, and you've already seen the facilities. So, feel free to, use them if necessary. And our topic this evening is, does anybody know? Is there at the back? Yes, appreciating life through acceptance. And we have with us Samantha. Samantha is currently based at Retreat Center in Oxford. She's been a primary teacher for many years, about 25 years. And of that, she's worked about 20 years in South African countries, where she also coordinated the activities for the Brahma Kumaris there. We're here in for a treat. Without a further ado, Samantha, I welcome you to come and share your thoughts. Thank you.
So good evening, everybody. It's very nice to be back here in a space. It's been a while. Can you hear me? And I recognize a couple of faces, maybe. Oh, great. So the topic is appreciating life through acceptance. And welcome to those online. And a chance at the end to also put your questions in the box, in the comment box, and I'll let you know when to do that. So let's start with a meditation just to get us in the room. And those of you at home, wherever you may be, just pause for a little bit now and a couple of minutes of just really being present and together. Okay, so we can just do it without music. It's okay. So we can just sit comfortably and just relax the body completely. Relaxing your legs, your hands, your shoulders. And just taking a few deep breaths. Just letting go of any tension or tightness. Again, another deep breath. Breathing in and breathing out. And this time I'd like you to imagine that you're breathing in something positive for yourself. So in the in-breath, choose a positive and powerful word like peace or love. And on the out-breath, just letting go of anything wasteful or extra. On the in-breath, a gift for myself, peace or love, happiness. And breathing out, anything unwanted, anything extra. And just taking this time to be very present, to take the maximum from the next hour or so. So in your own time, you can open your eyes and just really a centering, just getting us in the room and making us in the here and now. So let's start with this image that I've got on the screen, and you can see it's a lotus flower. And I chose this flower because I think it's a very good example of acceptance. And we know the lotus flower grows in muddy waters, doesn't allow the mud to influence it. In fact, it takes the best nutrients, and we can see it's a beautiful, beautiful flower. So in the same way, what is my capacity to do just that? And that's what we're going to explore today. What is the challenges maybe to accept and to be able to appreciate it's not just acceptance that I need, but I also need self-respect. And so I'd like to start with a model that looks at things that get in the way. But before that, just to think about the word self-acceptance, because I think before we can appreciate anyone, including ourselves, and often it's the last person we appreciate, I first of all need to be able to accept myself. And when I say that, I mean accept my whole story, even the not so great things that's happened to me, to accept that too, because that has enabled me to be in this room today, and all of you to be in this room today. You could have done something else, watch TV. I don't know what's happening, but you chose to be here for an hour. So that's saying something about your journey and your commitment to your spiritual progress. So congratulations, and for those online too who are listening and watching. So if you had to think of the word self-acceptance or acceptance, what's some of the words do you feel are associated with that? You can just shout it out because it's nice if it's a bit interactive. So if you had to think of the word acceptance, can't see you. Can't think of if you think of the word acceptance or self-acceptance, what comes to mind? And those of you online, you're welcome to write your comments in the comment box if you're on YouTube, Facebook, or any other medium. Okay, this is like not a trick. It's not a trick question, I promise. So acceptance, kindness. Yeah, yeah, yeah. What does it mean to accept? So it requires kindness. It requires courage. Yeah, forgiveness. Yeah, it's good. Anything else? This side of the room. Self-love, yeah, totally. Or value for the self, all of those things, totally. And when I accept myself, we hear this a lot, then I can accept everybody else. I'm going to just show you a few words that I've got here. Can you see that? Yeah. So, feeling of confidence. I think if I'm able to accept myself, there's a feeling of, even if I'm not perfect, definitely not. I'm making mistakes, but it doesn't matter. There's a level of confidence within the self. And because of that, I'm able to expand my heart, if you like, and embrace self-compassion. Somebody said self-love, definitely. Recognizing one's needs. How many of you are able to do that? Know what you need. That's one hand went up. What about everybody? 2 words. 2 hands went up. Sometimes it's very hard to recognize what you need, because I think for many years we have seen ourselves through the eyes of other people, and we've often tried to fulfill other people's needs. And it starts when we're quite young, where the adults around us give us a sense of what they expect, and we find ourselves, of course, as children, fulfilling that. Not a problem. But if it's at the expense of my own self-expression, because I wasn't really heard, let's say, as a young person, then those patterns in our adult years continue. And so I'm not able to meet my own needs, but I'm very good at meeting everybody else's needs, because somehow in my journey, I wasn't validated. Subtle, we're not blaming anybody, but it's just the way sometimes we experience parenting from our parents, for whatever reason. And so I'm just saying that because this is like the destination, but I think it's very important to recognize what's happened on the way, and to recognize those patterns that are stopping us from really appreciating ourselves, but appreciating every single moment, right? Staying true to your values. How easy is that? Loving yourself, somebody said that earlier. Maintaining your dignity. And that's very important, because even if things haven't gone well, or I've made some mistakes, how many of you feel okay when you make a mistake? Let's say 99% of the day is perfect, and you just one little mistake. Do you go, great, 99% was great? Just one mistake. How many of you do that? How many of you go, oh my God, I made a mistake? Right. Yeah. Where does that come from? That's a pattern. And so what's happened to my dignity at that point, when I've made, it's not even a big mistake, it's just a little mistake, but that's because I put pressure on myself, and I have very high expectations of myself. And so then if I've got those expectations, how is it possible to have self-appreciation, first of all, and then appreciation for others? And so it's very important to think about, how quickly do I lose my dignity? Nobody else is saying anything. It's what I'm saying to myself internally. You idiot. How comes you did that? Sometimes we are our own worst enemy. We don't need anybody else. And ever checked your self-talk? How many of you say, wow, you're so beautiful? You're laughing because it's like we don't say it, right? Look, you've done a really good job. You look, what's your name at the back? Oh, can I do that? What's your name? No, behind. Huh? Emma. So, can you say, Emma, you're looking really great today. Look in the mirror and say, wow, wouldn't that be great? It's very important to be able to have that level of acceptance. And it's not just about accepting our faults, but I think it's often harder to accept our beauty. How many of you are very good at accepting praise? See, same hands up. Anybody? Somebody says, wow, well done. That was a really good job. I'm really, really amazed that you did that. I really feel encouraged by what you did just now. What do you normally do when somebody praises you? Thank you. Great. I'm not there yet because I often just say, well, everybody else did that as well. I just kind of deflect it. I kind of push it away from myself and I'll say, well, they also helped and they also did that. And no, but we're thanking you, Sam. I go, yeah, I know. It takes practice and it takes a level of self-respect too. So I'm on the journey, as you can see. Practicing self-care and valuing yourself. So I felt all of these things are very important to be able to make acceptance, bring acceptance into action. Do you agree? And of course, we can add many. Yeah, please ask a question. Exactly. Yeah. So the lady saying it's easy to praise others, but when we are praised, we shy away. But why do you think we do that? It's interesting because we think that's just normal. We just go, okay, yeah. But there's something wrong. There's something wrong there. I'm not able to accept it. It's not with ego. Yes, I'm perfect. I know. Not like that. But just a kindness, an appreciation or an acknowledgement of your own specialities. That's important. Because if I don't own them, I can't use them. And if I have a connection with the divine, he can't use them. Because I think ultimately we're all instruments, right? But if I haven't owned the specialities that the divine has given me, then how on earth is he going to be able to use them through me? Yeah. Do we need a mic? I don't know. Do we need a mic? It's yeah, because it's more than one. I won't remember. It's going to be more than a few words.
Yes. Yeah. I think it's also a two-way thing. I mean, I learned that through intensive psychotherapy. And I can have some of those and then not others. But what I also learned was that actually you're giving back the gift that someone has given you when someone, and I've learned to say that to people. There's people I sponsor in AA.
Yeah.
And I said to one of my sponsees when I said, you're looking absolutely lovely. And I'm not even going to tell you what she replied to me. But I said, actually, that was incredibly rude. I said, I've just given you a gift and you've just thrown it right back in my face.
That's right.
And she never does it anymore. And it was my therapist that said to me, when someone says something like that, learn it, practice it. Just say thank you and button it.
Yeah.
Don't say, oh, yeah, I'm looking nice because I've just had my hair done. Just say thank you. And it comes so easily now. And you can see the other person.
Lovely.
It's nice for the other person because they know that you have accepted the compliment that they have given you.
And that's also part of it. Thank you so much. That's very true. And it's almost like a rejection, isn't it, of the other person when you just sort of don't even acknowledge what they're saying. Absolutely. And so what I'd like to look at now is this whole aspect of identity, because I think the way that we see ourselves definitely influences our ability to appreciate and definitely to accept. And so I've called this the layers of understanding the layers of me. And so the outer layer is really all the physical aspects of yourself. And I'm just going to click them up. Definitely my glasses. Can you see them up there? Yeah, you can see them up. And so relationships, often we are defined by our relationships. There are some relationships where we feel we're getting appreciation from others. And often it's easy to appreciate the people that have given you something or have helped you in a time of need. And so our appreciation can become very limited if I'm seeing myself through that relationship. Does that make sense? And so I give more attention to those people in my life where I get some attainment. I feel they're present for me or they're listening to me. And the others who, for some reason, may not be there in the same capacity, but maybe because they need some help. And so it's easy to be quite dismissive sometimes if we're just in our own little bubble, thinking about our own needs. Appearance, I'm just going to click all these now so you can see them. But how much am I defined by my economic status, my appearance, or my age? I remember I live in Oxford, and so there's a lovely friend, and she must be 82 now, but she never says her age. She always says she's 79. I said, what's the difference? I said, what's the difference? 79, 82, she goes, Samantha, there's a big difference. Because when I say I'm 80, people start shouting. They go, hello, Karen. Just that one, 79, they don't shout. They talk normally to her. But when she says she's 80 something, she noticed they think she's deaf and she's completely, her hearing is sound. And so, so she's having to filter through that and not allow others' perception of age or their stereotypes in a way to define her so that she can keep having self-appreciation. And she's got a lot of self-respect. But if I allow those labels to define me, and sometimes we do, the media, there are many stereotypes around these labels, then it's very difficult then to have self-appreciation. So I've just put a few, but think about the labels that, or the roles that you play, and how your value is dependent on the feedback you get from what you do and how you do it. You see the problem in that? And I'm kind of waiting for the compliment, you know, hanging on every word. And so when I get praise, I pretend to deflect it. I'm actually quite happy inside. And when I get some criticism, then that might knock my self-respect. If my self-respect is knocked, lack of self-acceptance, and then, of course, no appreciation. So just think about your relationships and how they're very much defined by how you see yourself. I remember there was a lady, we did a day retreat in Oxford in our retreat centre. You are most welcome, by the way, to come for a day retreat. I will advertise that at the end. We went through a process, and she said, and she was a person that was very, very helpful. She was always ready to give support to others. But in the process, she realized, and what she said was that actually the motivation for helping people is not so much their need, it's my need, because I need to feel needed. I mean, it was good. She was doing a lot of charity, right? But she was able to check subtly the motivation. And so her sense of appreciation came when she was able to offer help and support. And when she wasn't doing that, then was she able to appreciate herself to the same extent? I don't think so. I'm asking you to, you don't have to share it, but just think about, you know, your responsibilities and your roles, and how much does that, you know, affect your level of appreciation. It's not consistent because it's dependent on something external. And then the second layer is a little bit more deeper, if you like. And that's to do with your beliefs, your personality, your skills, and your creativity. And again, we're using all of those things through the different roles, my profession, maybe in my community, in my relationships. And it's the same thing. If I'm getting good feedback from those areas, then I'm okay. Are you following me with this model? Yeah. And so solution then, because we're all constantly influenced by the external. Sometimes it can just be the weather, it can be the noise, so many things. And a lot of energy is going in that direction. And so we need a way of beginning to tap into our innermost qualities, where that appreciation lies. And if I don't do that, then the patterns that I have developed, which have really helped me to manage, to navigate my path in this world, will keep dominating. And so one is to be fear of making mistakes. There are all kinds of fears that we haven't been able to resolve because I'm very much, my sense of self is defined on the outer circles. So what's your greatest fear? Because if there's fear, there's no love. If there's no love, there's no appreciation. Greatest fear? Lions? Tigers? No. Not lions and tigers and snakes. Maybe. Might have some phobias. But it's often those subtle things. Fear of loss, fear of making mistakes, fear of rejection. And if I'm holding on to any of those things, my talents, my personality, which is a constant state of change, then I'll be influenced by that. Any questions? Yeah. And so what we have to do then, I'm just checking, is I need to be able to really tap into my inner core. And this is where Raj Yoga meditation comes in. I want to talk a little bit about that today. Some of you may have done the course already, which is good. Some of you may not. But every single individual has these innate qualities, which is peace, love, happiness, wisdom, and strength. Even if you can't see them, even if the person is very arrogant, angry, whatever we want to say about them, but underneath all of that are these amazing qualities. And it's only when I'm able to connect to those internally and feel those through meditation that I can begin to redefine what appreciation is for me. And then I'm able to appreciate others just because I don't even need a reason. Because behind what they do and how they do it and what they say, they too are this beautiful soul, beautiful light with all of these qualities. And if I focus on that as opposed to what they're not doing for me, then it's going to enable them to express that because I'm not judging them. And so the aim is to really allow those qualities to influence all of those areas in our life. Together? Yeah. If you take just one of those outer labels or roles, let's take relationships because that's a big one. And if I just choose one quality, I practice that. And I decide, I make a decision, I'm not saying it's easy, that I'm going to really be calm. I choose one, not the difficult relationship, one that's a bit easy to start off with. And I decide that as much as possible, I'm not going to be reactive. Because when I'm reactive, it doesn't help, right? You try to prove your point, they try to prove their point, and there's no appreciation at all in that relationship at all, whatsoever. And so I'm not saying you can just get up and do it like that. What I'm encouraging is that we have some kind of practice where I'm building up this inner capacity and I'm allowing that shine. I'm allowing that light to shine. And one of the advantages I feel of meditation, whatever the practice is that it shines light on the areas that you can't see. Because most of us can't see our patterns. Most of us, other people can see your patterns before you see them, right? And they can often tell you about them, and I can get defensive because I can't see them. And I'm proving my point. No, because I did that. What do you mean? I'm not like this. I'm not like that. Because I'm in darkness. The third eye, the eye of wisdom, the eye of the soul is closed. And so for me, the biggest motivation to have any kind of meditation practice, it may not be Raj Yoga, anything where you're still and silent and focusing internally, is that it allows you to see your beauty, but also to see the patterns that keep tripping you up. Because once you see them and you acknowledge them, I really believe that 70% of the work is done once you notice them. And 30% is just remembering to not do it. That's the easy part. And it takes a lot of humility to acknowledge them. Yeah.
But changing them,
Yeah.
that's what I've struggled with.
Yeah. And I think if we're struggling, and of course there are layers and layers. I'm just showing 2 layers here, but there are many layers. And if I am struggling, I need to also ask myself, and this is not about you personally, ask myself, why am I struggling? How much am I investing in my own self-transformation? And we have a percentage actually in terms of your meditation. Do you want to hear it? 24 hours a day, right? How much time do you think you need to devote to yourself daily for that to make an impact? It's not a lot. 24 hours in a day. How many, it's not even hours, how many minutes do you think you need to invest? What, 20 minutes? No, that's not enough. Sorry, that's a bit too low. She said 20, by the way, if you're listening online. No, 20 is, 20 is half, you're halfway. That's good, halfway. Nice, yeah, good. 40, that's good. 45 minutes. And that's 3%. That's not much. 3% of your day, we're asking, can you devote 3% of your day to building yourself up from the inside? Because I need power to transform. The more I spend time in soul consciousness, in silence with myself, connecting to the divine, to the source, that's shining light on what I can't see. That's also giving me confidence and shining light on who I am, which is all these qualities. And at the moment, we're not convinced that I am peace and love. Because if I have a bad day and I start shouting, I think, oh, I'm not peaceful. But you're still peaceful. You just had an off day, you know? And so I feel like I need to look at my practice. I need to look at the quality of my practice. If I can't see even the smallest change, it's not easy. It does require attention and definitely commitment. But do you think it's possible? It's not 45 minutes of sitting in meditation, mind you, because Raj Yoga meditation requires 2 things. It requires sitting and meditating, but it also requires study. And when I say study, it requires you to read something uplifting. So we have a morning study every day in our centers, but it can just be something uplifting, a book that inspires you, that uplifts your spirit. And if you do 20 minutes of that, and then 25 minutes of meditation, or 25 minutes of that, and 20 minutes of meditation, as a foundation for your day, it will be completely different. When I started to meditate, I did the course many years ago, and in London, and I was teaching at the time. I still am a primary school teacher, and so I brought this. And they have this picture with the point of light on. I got that from the shop, finished the course, and I thought, okay, I feel really good doing this. So what I would do before going to work, I would just sit down, literally not even 20 minutes, it was like 5. And I would look at the picture, play a commentary, and that was my day. That's how I started my day. But it was magic. That I was calm, the children were calm. I don't think I was really meditating properly, but I made a commitment every day before I left the house to just sit and look at that point of light and listen to that commentary about peace or love. That's what I did. I wasn't really meditating properly, but I was listening to something positive. And because I made a commitment to myself, I felt like I got the return. And the day somehow was easier. And when I forgot, it was chaos. And so this became like a practice. That was back in the 90s. And so I'm encouraging you to do that, actually, to find a regular practice. And it's easy to say, I don't have time. blah, 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 da, da, da. But we find time to eat, right? How many times do you eat? 3 times a day? Twice? No, once. Once in a while. That's yeah. You got is that your child? Oh yeah. Okay, well at least once, no? So once a day you're eating, right? And once a day you're having silence and meditating. Trying. Good for you. Yeah. In other words, there's a lot. What I'm saying is that there's a lot that we do for the body. We go shopping because we need to clothes. Now it's winter. I need to get some warm clothes. I eat. I work. I mean, I go to the gym. There's so many things. And then look at what am I doing for myself. And this is not a judgment. It's just for us to really reflect and check, am I in balance? And how can I increase that balance for myself? That's all. And only I can do that. And yes, there's going to be 1,000 challenges. Everything will try to distract you from what you need to do. Totally. And that's why I really need to have a very clear aim and goal for myself. So you've come here this evening. You came with an intention. You came because you wanted to hear something useful, right? Maybe you come every week. And that's part of your journey, to take out time to listen to something like this, right? Are we together? Yeah? We on the same journey? Okay. And so what do we gain through connection? And this for me is a beautiful image. And you can see that, I do it on here. So there we are, in the center of the forehead, connecting to the divine. But this is what I like. This is interesting. What is that in the hand? So there's a tiny little sort of light that's almost being protected. What would you say that light is? Okay, there's the soul, right? Connecting to the source. But there's this protection of this little light. You probably can't see it so clearly because of the light. But I'll just show. Can you see that there? There. That's it. Yeah. You can see it online as well. So what is that that's being held? So not even held, but just there's a tension there. What would you say that represents? Right? The energy. What's the energy? Sorry, question with a question. Somebody said the energy, yeah? Yeah. But a bit more kind of specific, because energy, it just feels a bit general. Positive energy positive energy that you receive from meditating. Thank you. That's great. Anybody else? Peace of mind. Totally. Yeah. But I kind of see this, all of those things, it's like our little treasure store. And it's really protecting. If we go back a slide, these are the basics, but from there comes so many things. From love comes compassion, wisdom. I think appreciation is linked to that. But how much am I paying attention to looking after that? Sometimes we can meditate, right? And we feel really great. I feel I've connected. Even if it's just a couple of minutes, but I feel calm. I feel something happened in that meditation. I come out of it feeling different. And then, maybe I'm driving to work or I'm in a traffic jam or somebody says something. And then how quickly then do we lose that experience that we attained in that meditation? And I feel that's what we're that's for me a sign of that if I attain something that is very beautiful and priceless, then I need to give it some attention. Peace of mind, positive energy, as you said. But so easily we just let it slip away because of, even they may not have said anything, they just looked at you in a funny way. And suddenly the treasures that I had, the feeling that I had, the appreciation that I had fell to the wayside. And so I feel there are 4 powers that are very important for me in sustaining appreciation and also enabling us to be accepting of ourselves and others. And the first one is, there are 4 Ds, is detachment. And I think it's very important to detach ourselves from the expectations, from that outer layer that you saw earlier. Just put it back there. And so I've got each of these come with an expectation. And so I need to be able to create space between what I do and who I am. It doesn't mean that I'm locked in my room. It doesn't mean that I'm not engaging, but I'm disconnecting or detaching from the negative influences that are also inside of me, because we can be very critical of ourselves as well as others. And so to be able to stand back and just observe, in the positive thinking course, there's something called SOS, which I like: stand back, observe, and steer. And we need to do that. If you're in it the whole time, in the scene, in the situation, you can't see. You can't see the bigger picture. So stand back, detach, and see what's going on. Not with these eyes, but with this eye. Because these eyes are colored by your beliefs, your expectations, our past sorrows and hurts and all of those things. So I need to see with this sign. That's why the meditation is so important. And really see what's going on. That's the first thing, detached. The second thing is to be able to discern, the power to discern. And that's we all have this capacity to be able to discern what's true and what's not true, what's false, what's right, what's wrong. And if I'm not detached, I can't discern, because I won't be able to judge effectively, to be able to keep myself on the right path. And that means to keep appreciating. I spoke about study and meditation, but one very good thing that is really, really useful, and some of you may be doing this already, is a gratitude diary. So your 25 minutes meditation and 20 minutes writing down things that you're grateful for. And it has to be real. Because if you're focusing on that, and I haven't done it recently, but I remember doing it probably about a year ago, where I wrote down 100 things. I didn't think I could get to 100 things that I was grateful for, right back to my childhood. I did that in 20 minutes. And then every day you had to find 10 new things, but it couldn't be the same as the 100 that I'd written before. And every day you had to find 10 new things. Can you imagine the kind of muscle you're using in terms of your intellect to try to find 10 new things? Which means you're really having to look for something. You're really having to be not narrow, but expansive, to see the smallest thing. Maybe somebody just held the door open for you. Actually, somebody did do that. They just held the door open for me. I was carrying something. I could just not even think about. But that was useful. That helped. That was help. I'd have to put the box down and then prop the door open. They said, "Oh, can I help you?" I'd write that on my list because that was very helpful. Probably took less than a minute. Then I went one way. They went the other way. That was the end of the encounter. But that was helpful. And the more we can appreciate and acknowledge this, then imagine what's going to happen to our consciousness. Less critical and more present and awake and alert to these very small things that I think make a huge difference. Huge difference. Is that okay? So I was on discernment. So to discern, this third eye has to be very, very clean and clear. You know, when you get like a little stone in your eye, what happens? Really painful. It starts watering and try to get it out, and you put water. Imagine this eye. It's not one stone, so many stones. Sometimes you can't even see anything. And so how much am I keeping this eye clean and clear so that I can truly see? And it's not about just me benefiting. Can I get to a win-win situation in my interactions? Because if it's win-lose, that's not going to be helpful. But win-win is possible. But I have to be creative. And I have to drop my expectations, I think, too. I was on discernment. And the other one, discipline. Discipline. That's not a nice word, is it? When you hear the word discipline, what happens? You go, oh, you remember school and having to sit up straight or whatever. But discipline is very important power on any spiritual journey, because I need to have a daily practice. Anything that you learn, you have to be regular. It's good if you do it at the same time, even if it's good if you got the same place, because that schedule will kind of will pull you, and you'll be reminded that you haven't had time with yourself today. And so even if it's 5 minutes, can I invest 3% of my day for myself? That's appreciation. Reading something for 20 minutes doesn't mean 25 minutes in one go. That might be challenging. It means 5 minutes, 5 minutes, 5 minutes, 5 minutes. That's the minimum. We aim to do more. But 25 minutes in one goes, I think, may not be possible because of many commitments. But 5 minutes, 5 minutes, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, that's possible. And so discipline. So whatever I want to create for my life, I need to make sure that I'm watering it and there's sunshine, and that I'm making sure that it's growing. And what's growing are those qualities, right? That's what I need to grow. That's what needs to grow. And so if you do it when I feel like it, not today, I'm tired, then you're going to be very inconsistent. And in fact, when I try to meditate, your mind's going to go all over the place, even more so than what it does now, because it's like I haven't really made that commitment to myself. I do it when I've got time. Does that make sense? And always set yourself a short goal. Just set yourself what you can do realistically. It doesn't matter, even if it's 3 minutes, even if you're listening to one song or one commentary, however you meditate, that's okay. Maybe I do 5 minutes in the morning. Good if you can top and tail it, morning and evening. Start your day, close your day. That's really good. But start with something that you can achieve, but be consistent. And I'm saying 7 days a week. Not realistic. I'm saying that because I know that that works. Okay, maybe not, maybe 5, and then we can build up. But start with, even if you don't, okay, 7, that's a bit unrealistic, Samantha. Maybe 3, but your aim is to build it up. Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Keep the days the same, whatever your schedule is. Is that possible? Are you doing that already? Some of you are nodding. Yeah, good. Daily? Great. Your hand? You're laughing? What's the matter? Yeah, oh, you need the mic, yeah.
You're saying do it, start off with 3 days a week, 5 days a week. But I think when I started, I didn't see it that way. I just thought I'd take it a day at a time. So I just made sure I'd made the commitment I'm going to do it every day, but I didn't think about how long I'm going to do it.
That's okay.
And from my experience, I think that does work. You just take it a day at a time. I mean, there will be occasions like one day you just think, okay, I can't do it today. That's fine. But if you take it a day at a time, you just do it it'll turn into every day eventually.
Yeah, that's nice.
I don't think you should set a target initially. Just take it a day at a time. Okay,
Yeah.
today I've done it. I'm going to do it tomorrow. Don't think about how long, when you will stop. Otherwise,
Yeah.
you won't grow into that pattern.
Thank you for that. And I think that's really good advice for people who are just starting out. Definitely to do it as, I don't know how long you've been coming, but definitely when somebody's just started, then day at a time. But you look quite seasoned. Some of you, so that's why I'm sharing what I'm sharing. I know totally, I agree. Beginners, it feels as if this is a group that's been, and I recognize a few faces from when I was here about 2 years ago. So it looks like a seasoned group. That's why I'm saying that, because I do feel that time is changing, and I do feel that we can make more effort. You're seasoned. I'm talking to a seasoned meditator. If you're beginners online, what's your name? Kuna. Kuna. So Kuna, please listen to what Kuna said. I absolutely agree with him. Day at a time. Don't press yourself. Just get into a rhythm if you're just starting. If you've been doing it for a while, if I say a while, I mean at least 6 months to a year. That's for me is quite seasoned. Is it a year? 6 months? 2 months? Long? 2. Seasoned. Seasoned. So my advice, with a lot of love from my heart, is let's look at where I can add a minute or two to my practice, really. Because if what can happen is that we can just keep doing the same thing that we've always done when we started to meditate, or last year, because it's working. And I've got a pattern and I feel good. I feel there's change. That's good. But we need more than change, because it's not just about you. I'm talking to the seasoned meditators online. It's also about the people that you live with, because they also need that. They may not be meditating like you are, may not even have any spiritual interest at all, which is fine. But that's where you come in. No pressure. You're the one that can spread the light. So you need a bit more than just for yourself. And if you live on your own, still you can spread that subtly through your mind as well. God, a bit much, isn't it? But no, really, I'm saying that from my heart, because we do need to build that capacity from the inside to be able to keep appreciating, to be able to keep that positive energy, because everything around us is not. You know, it's very difficult to know what's real and what's fake in terms of news. I mean, how do you know? It's hard to say. But if that clarity is inside of me, then it's like sometimes you just have a gut feeling, and that's the power to discern. I just know, right? And I need to be able to use that more and more. So where was I? I said discipline. And the last one, determination. And they say determination is the key to success. Because how many of you have started something with really good intention, you really, really enjoy it, and I'm talking meditation, anything that you've really enjoyed, and you go, right, I'm going to do this every day, and I'm really enthusiastic, and it's first week's great, second week's great, third week, fourth week, hands up, me. Lack of determination. I know it's good for me. I was really happy doing it. Why did I stop? I didn't give it that attention. Attention. This is the basis of me feeling good, being good. And so detachment, discernment, discipline, there are many, but four's enough to remember, and determination. It's important. I'm going to stop there and ask if there are any questions, because this is now a good time for questions. Questions from online. Comments from those of you online or in the room. Has it been clear?
Samantha, there is a question from online viewers.
Yeah.
If you could explain more on determination.
Yeah.
How do you cultivate that determination? Because the intention is always there, but sometimes the situations varies.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Like say, for example, somebody has to go for a walk or a jog and they are very determined, but it's raining and the situation changes and then it fizzles out. Yeah. So how do you cultivate determination in yourself?
Yeah. I think the first thing for me is that it's very important to validate what I'm doing. Sometimes we start something and it's going well, but I don't really validate it. It's like, just acknowledge that I made this commitment, I made this effort. Well done. It's not just a routine. You've decided to do something for yourself that's going to benefit you physically, emotionally, whatever, spiritually. So it's very important to validate, because we have the habit to be quite self-critical. And I think we all said in the beginning, when it's 99% great and 1% mistake, we tend to think on the 1%. I feel because it's a lack of validation. So the more that I see that something is working, no matter how small, that's going to give me determination. That's going to give me enthusiasm. When there's enthusiasm, there's lightness, there's joy. And that fuels, I think, determination. But if I'm just like, okay, yeah, it's a good idea to meditate. I'll do it tomorrow. Okay, yeah. Did you meditate today? No, I didn't really manage to do it. It's kind of a bit dry. So anything, no matter how small, please validate what you're doing. If it's exercise, validate it. If you're an artist, validate that. I'm not talking about just meditation. Anything that you do that's bringing benefit to you, bringing joy to you and others, validate that. Don't wait for somebody else to appreciate you and say, wow, that was amazing. Well done. But say it internally to yourself, well done. If you've managed to change a behavior pattern, no matter how small, this person might have been a trigger for me, but somehow just not reacting. Doesn't seem to bother me. That's great. So that would be my answer to that. Yeah. Any other questions before we have meditation? No? Has it been clear? You think you can increase a little bit of your practice, develop it a little bit more? Yeah. Okay. You can do that. It's a safe space. We all know each other.
Kind of owning up to it, and I read for about 25 minutes. I have lots of Daddy Janki and Sister Janti. I have all my books there. I open it up often at random pages. The virtues, I just pick things out randomly. Very often it's what I need, to hear that day. I have my AA things that I open it up, thought for the day. I have some Hindu, I have some Buddhism. And so everything that I'm reading, it's all very beautiful and very positive and very uplifting. And I can find 15 minutes later when I get in the car that everything is gone. But what I'm not doing, I'm feeling that is enough, but I'm not actually then sitting. Okay. And I'm not, how much benefit do you think one gets just from, and I do big gratitude list as well every morning and every night, but how much does one get from just reading it? Because everything that Daddy Janki says in her things is you have to experience. So do you think there is any real benefit from spending that 25 minutes with the readings without actually physically making myself do the meditation?
No, there's benefit in everything. There's benefit in that because it's keeping the mind positive for that 20 minutes. But that's not going to transform your sanskar, your nature. It's not going to transform habits. It's not going to allow you to realize the beauty inside. I mean, I'm being quite clear because that's information. That's good information, right? So when I read it for 20 minutes, I wasn't having any waste thoughts. But if I want to change patterns within myself, I need power. And power comes from yoga, from connection, from union, from meditation. So that's why it's study, reading good things, and yoga. We need both. Because the calm, clean, positive mind, then when I sit, I can churn one or two things from Daddy Janki if you like. No, both. But don't, no, that's good what you're doing. But now just add, yeah. And that's probably why you're finding it difficult to change because there isn't the power, because there isn't the practice. Yeah.
To the result-oriented approach, we don't see immediate benefits. I was in a youth session. People give up. So what I did was pick up one big problem. As you say, when you are deep into a problem, multiple things come up, you go in autopilot mode. What I tried practicing was pick up the topmost problem. And they have this app called Peace or something like that that keeps reminding.
That's nice.
Like reinforcing even if every hour it kind of beeps, right? even if we do it twice in 2 hours or once in 2 hours, it's just constantly reminding. So to the point that was mentioned, that once we are out of the meditation, we feel like, oh, but it's just those bite-sized sort of, and keeping it small. I think you mentioned that.
Yeah.
And tackle one problem at a time, maybe
Totally.
or a few days. And some method will work eventually, and that's when you
Totally.
start feeling positive about that. You're sitting and idle, it's all coming together.
Yeah.
Like sending positive vibrations, and being calm. So when you are within, the first thing is to come out of it. Then you can steer your response.
Yeah. Totally.
It's hard work, but it does sometimes pay off.
No, totally. Sometimes it does. Thank you for sharing that. That's a very good note to end on, I think. Yeah. Let's just have a few affirmations. And I'm just going to speak 3 or 4 affirmations. I am. Maybe we can take those away with us. And so just sitting very comfortably and taking a few deep breaths and just focusing your energy on the inside. Maybe visualizing yourself as light in the body and recognizing your own uniqueness and your own beauty. And I know that my true identity is positive and powerful. I am peaceful. I am eternal. I am powerful. I am loving. And I accept myself as I am. And I know that deep down that there is just goodness inside of me and inside of everyone. We started good. We are good. And if I have to look at a few situations that I need to change, let me start with that backdrop of goodness from the center, and then look at the things that I may need to adjust in my life. But ultimately, I am all of those good things: peace, love, and power. Thank you. Om Shanti.
Shanti. And you'll join me in thanking Samantha for this beautiful sharing. And it was a beautiful talk, but just a couple of things that I'd like to highlight. How much time do we need to devote for ourselves? Minimum. Do you remember the percent she said? 3%, right? So just about 20, 25. 45 minutes. So it's manageable, it's doable. As was mentioned, that we don't have to do it in a go, but we can do it throughout the day. But that's the minimum. That's just your bread and butter. But if you want luxurious life, then a lot more is needed. Okay. And our talk next Tuesday is going to be about thoughts, the invisible human fragrance. And Sister Sigrun will be sharing on that theme. And as on every Mondays and Thursdays, except bank holidays, we have meditation 7 to 7:30, both in person and online. And you're welcome to visit our quiet room. We open from Mondays to Saturdays, so certainly the quiet room is open from 10:30 onwards till at least 5 p.m. and some days much later. And I think for now that's it. And on Sundays, we do an online reflective meditation, and that's from 10 o'clock to 10:45. So again, that's just online. And the product for the week I'd like to talk about is Inside Out by Dadi Janki and Happiness Unlimited by Sister Shivani. So these couple of books. And there's lots of books, as was mentioned in the talk, that start your day with something positive. So please feel free to browse through the bookshop before leaving. And hopefully you'll find something that might be helpful for you. See you soon and safe travels home. Thank you. Sunday, there's Diwali on Trafalgar Square, and the Brahma Kumaris will be taking part in a very big way. There will be live goddesses, 2 live goddesses sitting, and there will be various other sessions we'll be doing as well. So if you're free, come along. It will be from 1 o'clock onwards till quite late in the evening. This Sunday at Trafalgar Square, Diwali with London, Mayor of London.
Thank you.